I truly believe that if you're being shown something over and over again and you really do desire it, it's meant for you. And the only reason you think it's not, and the only reason why you default to comparing yourself, is because of the way that you view yourself, the shame you carry, the insecurities you have, the limitations that you believe are on you and hold you back. You're listening to the From Imposter to Empowered podcast. I'm your host, Jill Perrick, a business and mindset coach who specializes in imposter syndrome. If you feel like you're not as smart, capable, or worthy as you actually are, and that someone is going to find you out, then you've come to the right place. I went from being a struggling government worker, working my coaching business on the side, but feeling unworthy and burnt out, to making multiple six figures helping women overcome imposter syndrome so they too can sign clients, make bank, and have the business or career of their dreams. I am nothing special. I have a stuttering disability, ADHD, and I struggle with anxiety and depression. So if I can learn how to feel good enough and overcome my inner imposter, then so can you. Let's dig in. Hello, my loves. Welcome back to the From Imposter to Empowered podcast. I am so happy to have you here. I am Jill Perrick, your host, and I am so excited to talk to you about how to stop comparing yourself to other coaches so you can make more money as a coach. And before we get into the episode, I want to invite you to apply to work with me in my one-to-one coaching program, Fraud to Six Figures. And the reason why it's called Fraud to Six Figures is because that's exactly how I came up in the coaching industry. I went from feeling like a fraud to becoming a six-figure earner because of the work I did on myself, the consistency I had in showing up and being visible, and the strategy that I implemented. Imposter syndrome is the number one mindset block for coaches. It will hold you back from charging what your services are worth. It'll hold you back from saying what you really want to say in your marketing. It'll make you discount and discredit your achievements, and it will lead to a lack of boundaries with clients, a fear of scaling and being successful, and even managing your money properly as a CEO because you just don't see yourself as a successful CEO. It's an identity shift to become a six-figure coach, and if you're an avid listener and consumer of my content, you know that I'm the coach to help you get there. And that's what I'm helping you do in my one-to-one coaching container, Fraud to Six Figures. We work together for 3 or 6 months so you can expand to six figures on the inside and the outside, sell confidently, sign soulmate clients, and be seen as a leader in the online space. As I said, there are 3 and 6 month contract options, and you can head to the show notes and click the first link in there to apply. And also at the link in my show notes, you can purchase my best-selling book, You're Not Special, on Amazon. Now, let's get into today's episode. So how do you stop comparing yourself to other coaches in the online space? Here is an account of my own process and experience that I think will be really helpful for you to hear. So the first thing is I stopped believing the stories that my brain told me about people online. Our thoughts about other people are usually a mirror into our own insecurities, and looking at other people and their content can really send an insecure brain into a tailspin. But the story you tell yourself is the one you believe, even if it's not true. And it is very easy to take someone's post or their content and concoct a story about their life, who they are, their financial situation, etc. But you literally cannot take what someone says online at face value. While yes, transparency in the online space has greatly increased, there is still nuance and context attached to everything. For example, you might see someone sharing their income wins and you might feel bad about yourself because of it, but you don't see how big their team is or the breakdown that they had the other day or the fear that it will all go away. By no means am I saying that A, people are lying, or B, that it's always a different story behind the scenes, but there is always more to the story than you can see with your own two eyes. There's more to the income wins than just the income wins. Now, I don't think that we need to berate people for sharing wins or income or things that are good and demand that they show us the bad, but instead, we can take responsibility for using discernment when we're consuming. And at the end of the day, I don't give a shit what someone is sharing now that I feel this way about other people's content. I have no thoughts about someone else's content because I'm secure in how I feel about myself, so I consume now from a very neutral place. And I also know that everyone has their shit. Making a lot of money brought this even more into my awareness that more clients, more money, and more notoriety, is that how you say that word? Does not solve all of your problems. We all know this consciously, but it's usually a sneaky secret desire when you really just want to bring in more clients and more money. But truly, it doesn't just get rid of all your problems. So when I see somebody's wins, I'm fully aware that no matter how easy and amazing it looks, everyone has their shit. Literally everyone. They have family issues, insecurities, limiting beliefs, issues when it comes to money and their mindset around money. You never fully know what someone is going through or what they went through to achieve what they did. And again, context is so important. It's unfair for you to look at a coach who's been doing this for years and be like, why haven't I had a 6-figure launch yet? And it's only been a couple months, you know what I mean? And when we don't receive context, our brain fills in the blanks, but you just believe your brain so much that you just think it's true. Being so aware of this is really important. Now, this isn't me saying that everyone is struggling behind the scenes or anything. This is me being like, my brain wants to tell me that this person's life is perfect and that it's not possible for me because of XYZ, but that's simply just not true. Like, listen, you all know that I have a stuttering disability and there's no amount of money that can solve that for me. There's no amount of money that can solve the anxiety I feel around my stutter. So if you see an income win, it's like, yeah, that's fucking amazing. And I'm so happy that I have a successful online coaching business, but I also have shit too, you know? And comparing yourself to others just doesn't make sense because we all have our own shit. And like your brain just wants you to believe that other people are more than you or better than you. But here's some good news. If you're comparing, it's just a projection of what you want to be or have, but that you think you'll never have or never will. And the good news about that is that it's come into your awareness. So that means that it's possible for you. I truly believe that if you're being shown something over and over again and you really do desire it, it's meant for you. And the only reason you think it's not, and the only reason why you default to comparing yourself is because of the way that you view yourself, the shame you carry, the insecurities you have, the limitations that you believe are on you and hold you back. But I think that comparison is an opportunity to realize what you truly want, and you have the option to get after it or sit in your projections and stew about them. Hey guys, I hope you're loving today's episode. I am just taking a brief pause in today's episode to share with you a client testimonial. These testimonials are either from group coaching clients or clients who are in my one-to-one coaching program. And I can't wait for you to hear how I have changed their lives and their businesses for the better.
Working with Joe for me was great, not because I can pinpoint this one aha moment where everything in my life changed, maybe like other people can. It was more like accumulation of skills and changes and breaking down of old beliefs and putting in new beliefs and then turning around at the end of the process and being like, wow, I'm in a totally different place now than where I started. And I'm a totally different person.
Thank you guys so much for listening. Now let's get back to the episode. And also, when it comes to being online, surrounded by a lot of people who are sharing the best sides of themselves and their businesses, building your own self-confidence makes you very immune to comparison, even if you do consume a lot, because you're in your own lane. You're doing your own thing, going after your own goals, and focused on yourself and your business. And when you work on your confidence, you realize that you cannot be replicated. If you believe that you are inherently valuable and that access to you is worth its weight in gold, my God, not only will you not compare yourself, but you will turn that money faucet on. When we coach people, they are working with us the person. You are your brand. And that's why doing the confidence and the work to be visible is so freaking necessary, because clients are choosing to work with you. Yes, you are solving a problem for them, but they are choosing you to help them solve that problem. So I want you to remember that and really think about this over the next couple of days. What would it take for you to see yourself as 1 in a million? How would it feel to know that people hired you just because you're you and they want your eyes on their life, their relationships, their business, whatever kind of coach that you are? You are the magic, and no one could ever, ever, ever replace you. And from this place, I don't desire to check up on people or watch a million people's Instagram stories. This is actually a defense mechanism if you're doing it. It is a way to keep yourself safe so you can be aware about what others are doing so you can keep up or look for inspiration. But when you feel like a fraud, it will only make you compare yourself even more. And it could also lead you to unconsciously copy others and convince yourself that you have nothing unique or special to offer. When I see someone else's content, I'm consuming from a very neutral place, knowing that I have my own lane and that I am in my own arena as a coach. And here's a hot tip for you guys. If you are not consuming content from a neutral place, it's actually a really good idea to mute and unfollow people who trigger you only for the time being. There's no use trying to fight it. Just protect your energy for now until you can truly consume the content from others in your power and as neutrally as possible. And when comparison does come up, remind yourself that A, you don't have the full picture, the full context, etc. B, it's an opportunity to assess what you desire on an unconscious level. And C, you are every bit as capable, amazing, smart, talented, and worthy of the life and the business that you want. You can't be replicated or replaced, and that work has to start with you. Comparison ain't no thing in my one-to-one coaching program, Fraud to Six Figures, because gaining confidence as a leader and in yourself as an irreplaceable coach because of who you are and what you do is what we coach on, in addition to taking you and your coaching business to 6 figures. So hit the first link in my show notes to apply to work with me one-to-one. There's 3 and 6 month contract options. You get a whole extra month of coaching and Voxer if you pay in full, and there's payment plans and extended payment plans available. Again, the link to apply is the first one in my show notes. I love you guys, and I will see you in July. Thanks so much for listening to the From Imposter to Empowered podcast. Head to the show notes to learn how you can work with me, where you can buy my best-selling book, You're Not Special, and how to get on my email list for free. Screenshot this episode and add it to your Instagram stories, tagging me at YourCoachJill. See you next time.